Thank you for visiting my district. Quite often, actually, we've run into each other, and I appreciate that. I wanted to talk about, there's a number of things I want to talk about, but particularly an ongoing issue of invasive species in the local farming industry, at least in my district, but I think this points to a bigger problem across the state. A couple of local farms are going to be here today to testify on this issue. Kevin Crozier from Sugar Mountain Farms in East Bern, and Emily Vincent from Two Rock Ranch, which is a sheep farm. And they came to me with an issue over the summer that they talked about something, spotted knapweed and the wild poisonous parsnip. This is an issue that you might have heard of. I don't know if you've heard of these two species.
What was the second one?
The wild poisonous parsnip.
Wild parsnip.
Yeah. So the knapweed, I guess, is something that's affecting hay farmers, rendering fields completely useless because, from what I understand, it grows, and when you mow it down, it releases hundreds and hundreds of more seeds, and year after year, there's more and more of it. And there's really no easy solution to this, but I think it's affected so many farms now that I think we really need to start thinking about what the solution would be. How do we stop this? And I thought I'd mention it here just to get the conversation started. The poisonous parsnip is a different issue because that is a plant that actually causes burns if it gets on your skin, and it's really unique because it's activated by sunlight. And so once you get burned, when that burn is exposed to sunlight, as farmers are mowing the fields, if it touches the skin, it burns, and then it continues to burn, and there's no real good treatment for the burns. But more than that, as one of the farmers will testify today, it's poisonous to animals, and it's actually killing off some of the livestock. So I think this is something that's affecting farms in my district, but as I research it, it seems to point to a bigger problem, and it could devastate a lot of the farming industry because the challenges are very significant, and these species continue to spread year after year. So I wanted to discuss it here at this hearing. As I said, it's a significant challenge, and I don't know of an easy solution. So I wanted to just ask, with your experience with this and what can be done here in New York State, whether it's in the budget or looking for a solution that we could explore.
Sure. Thank you for bringing that up. Actually, invasive species is a growing concern broadly. We're all familiar with various things that have hit the state in the last few years, from the zebra mussel to the Asian longhorn beetle and woolly adelgid, and new this year is spotted lanternfly in Pennsylvania and 13 counties there, and we've had 3 sightings in New York State, something we're writing herd on very carefully, and again, an unintentional introduction from Southeast Asia, coming in on a crate or a pallet of something from another country, and suddenly we have an invasive species that doesn't have a known predator here that can rapidly get out of control. So it's something that we certainly pay very close attention to, and I would just add that that's a partnership we have with the Department of Environmental Conservation. We actually have an invasive species working group, and our plant division director, Chris Loeb, sits on that committee. We need to be very thoughtful about these things, and we need to be very thoughtful about how we deal with them, because unintended consequences often can be worse than the invasive species can be. We have a lot of lessons in that. With regards to knapweed and parsnip, on my own farm, I've been able to manage those. I grow parsnips for human consumption. It's a related plant, but yeah, poison parsnip is what the kids on the farm call it, because you can get a heck of a poison ivy-like rash from it. We've been able to control it mechanically by proper timing of mowing, et cetera. But I'm going to, footnote both of those and bring those back to our team, and be happy to talk with you more about management on both.
I think just at the local level, and there may be management techniques out there that maybe people don't know about.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I think certainly exploring it and getting it out
Sure.
to local farmers, because it seems that the farmers that I've talked to are struggling with it and really just losing entire fields, not being able to manage it. So if there is something you can offer, I'd appreciate hearing from you. I'm also going to check with NCON on that that commission that
Yeah,
that is
we'll
studying
follow
the
up
issue.
with you on that. Thank you.
Yeah, the other, I guess just want to quickly mention, I know some funding was just released for protection of water quality from the budget, protecting watersheds and working with farms for better management practices. There was 54 agricultural water quality conservation projects across the state, 131 farms. It's great to see these projects moving forward, certainly protecting water quality and moving farming into the 21st century. It doesn't seem like a lot, though. In my district, there was just a few projects in Montgomery County. Is this something, I guess, what's the status of these projects over the years? And is there a greater need? It seems like this should be a priority for, farming management and, water quality and watersheds, but it seems like more is needed. Is that your opinion as well?
It is. It is. And I would appreciate, specifically your help at the Ag Committee in the budget as we go forward, because Ag Non-Point Source Abatement and Control is the name of that fund. It is triggered by the watershed need, so, in typically the Finger Lakes regions, et cetera, with sensitive watersheds, they rank higher in competition, but every year this funding is oversubscribed. We don't have enough money there. It was $16.8 million the other day. This is the source for farms to do a better job at nutrient management across the state. It's not enough funding. We were able to supplement some of that need with the CAFO manure storage project, the $50 million that we injected last year, which was great to help our larger farms more effectively manage their manure and store manure and be able to not need to spread it at times that were difficult for the environment. So a lot of that funding had gone in that direction, and that helped relieve the pressure. But I think, Ag Non-Point is a place where we could certainly use more funding.
It also seems the projects, once they're funded, now you got to do the project, so we're looking at years, possibly years down
Sure,
the road
that's
to get
right.
it done. So getting it in the queue now means that we may see these projects 4 or 5 years in the future. So maybe that's something we have to think about,
Yeah.
funding now to see results in the near
Sure,
future.
'cause there's going to be a delay. You put the funding up, and then there's applications, and then the work gets done, and then you see the benefit. But it's a very effective tool. It's been great, but every year it's oversubscribed.
Just a follow-up question back to the invasive species. I know my colleague brought up climate change. So the cause, it seems like this is an issue coming to light more and more now. Is it any idea of the cause of why we're seeing more of the parsnip and the knapweed now, or at least I'm hearing about it more? Is there a correlation between the climate change or something that's happening?
With regards to those two weeds, no, I can't blame that one
Okay.
on climate change. It's convenient to have a scapegoat, sometimes, but no, poison parsnip has been in the Scary Valley for hundreds of years probably. But I think that some of the new ones are, we're doing more trade. There's more product moving around the world generally. And I think we need to be more vigilant. And plus, we know more about the environment today. We're making progress. We're noticing things that we didn't notice before. And so, the bar has been raised, but with regards to those two weeds, I can't blame them on climate
And I think
change.
the other point to make is, I think people have been reluctant to find a chemical cure for this because, anytime you add some sort of chemical into the farmland, it's something that people are reluctant to do. But you said that's probably not the solution. There might be other solutions to this.
I think whatever the solution is, it needs to be thoughtful and thought forward about, just so you don't have those unintended consequences. Science may lead you to the right answer. Mechanical, old-fashioned ways of doing things might lead you to the right answer. The important thing is to figure out what the right answer is and less of a knee-jerk reaction. If you remember, the starling was introduced here to take care of a pest problem years ago. Well, they didn't think through what the ramifications might be of that, and so we've got a new problem. And so we just need to be thoughtful. But I think today we're in a better position to get the right people at the table and be thoughtful.